Welcome back to OpenLine. Tonight we're speaking with Diane Dameron, our health and fitness expert, talking about what we should be thinking about, what kind of mindset we should get in as we get into the fall and winter months. It's not a time to hibernate. It is a time to still care about our health. And exercise is a big part of that. We talked about eating, different things that we can do, especially with the fall foods. Exercise even when it gets cold and it's dark so early. You got to get it in somewhere. 30 minutes a day is what's recommended. Moderate exercise. What does moderate mean?
Well, moderate basically means, you know, if you walk from here to there, you're probably not going to get your heart rate or your breath up. Moderate just means maybe where you're getting your heart rate up and your breathing is heavier, where you could maybe speak but not in long sentences. Like you couldn't sing a song but you could say a few words.
Okay.
So that's kind of what you want to get. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to break a sweat. You know, just kind of getting moving. And in the 30 minutes, 30 to 60, you know, I work out a lot, so I am active a lot more, but you know, there's a minimum and you can work up from that. So a minimum of 30 minutes. And the harder you go, the less you have to go. You know, so like if you go really hard for 30 minutes and you get it done, that's great. But let's say you don't have a 30-minute block or a 60-minute block in your day. You know, if you're not going to the gym right now, or if you're not working out at all, and you think, where in the world am I going to find 30 minutes in my day? You know, between kids and job and, you know, social life and whatever else, where am I going to find the time? And you don't have to find 30 minutes. Like I mentioned before the break, if you can check Facebook, you can get active. You have some time. And so what I say, and you know, even if it means most people think too they're already not getting enough sleep, but the thing about it is, let's say you have 15 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at your lunch break, and then 10 or 15 minutes after dinner to take a walk. Your 30 minutes can be broken up. And that's especially important when you're not quite as fit. Maybe you can go really hard for 10 or 15 minutes and then, you know, move on to something else and then come back to it later. So honestly, if you are working out, let's say you need 30 minutes and you cannot find it in your day, I would rather you take 30 minutes, especially if you're not working out at all, I would rather you take 30 minutes from your morning sleep and work out. Because if you are not working out now, chances are the time that you were laying in bed, you are not getting good rest. So let's say you're only able to get 6 hours of sleep right now. If you go ahead and get up 30 minutes earlier, or even 15 minutes earlier, and then maybe, you know, 15 minutes at night, you will get better sleep in the time that you're laying there. Because the more you exercise, the more your body is able to shut down at night, so you get that better REM sleep. So you wake up feeling more refreshed, even though you still got the same amount of sleep.
Absolutely.
So I always say, you know, look for ways in your life that you can find. I can definitely find 10 minutes here that I can sacrifice 10 minutes here. And I say I don't like to use the word sacrifice, because it's not a sacrifice.
No, you're doing something beneficial.
Yeah, and I always schedule it. You know, I make me as a priority. You know, my health is a priority, because all the people that depend on you, I may have, you know, I've used this before, but so many times people think, well, I can't do this because I have to take care of so-and-so or my kids or my job, or somebody depends on me. Well, think about when you're in an airplane and, you know, if you've got a child or someone with you, they always say, put the face mask on yourself first, and then you help your child. And it's the same way with life, because if we are not alive and able to keep going, we're not able to take care of you know, nobody's going to be able to depend on us if we're not here. So I think it's super important. I schedule time. You know, if I know something is coming up at about the time I usually eat dinner, or, you know, and still to this day, like, I love working out, but still to this day I work out in the morning, and I will set my shoes and my socks and, you know, my clothes and everything right by the bed, so that when I get up, they're right there.
And everyone's different. Like, I'm a morning person too. If I don't do it first thing in the morning, I will talk myself out of it by the end of the day. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to the gym now. My husband's the exact opposite. He hates to work out first thing in the morning. He's got to get his body moving and going and kind of, you know, ease into it, and then he's, you know, ready to go. So you got to, you know, you listen to yourself too and figure it out, and then block it out as part of your day.
And there's no secret to it. I don't think there's a specific time or a specific type of workout to do, because everybody is different. I do think if you can get it done in the morning, I think it's good, because not only, you know, personality-wise, but the day gets in, so many other things
Sure.
can get in
Yes.
the way. If you're going to work out after work, but then something else happens. So if you can get it done, that's great. If you cannot get yourself out of bed and you're going to be on the, whatever thing and just holding on for dear
Right.
life, that's not the time to do it. But also everybody says, what's the best way, what workout should I do? There's nothing, the one that you enjoy doing. If you will do it again, do that. If it's riding a bike or if it's running or if it's whatever. And honestly, a lot of times people think their first go-to to lose weight is cardio. They think,
Yes.
I've got to do cardio, they're a slave to the
lots of it.
cardio.
Yeah.
But actually, you are better off. My clients who need to lose weight, as long as they're not morbidly obese, if they need to lose weight, the first thing that they need to do is resistance, because resistance.
Explain that.
It's a metabolism boost, because when you're let's say you're on the treadmill and you're on the treadmill for 20 or 30 minutes, you will burn those calories for that 20 or 30 minutes. But if you lift weights during those 20 or 30 minutes, and I'm not talking about and no offense to college boys, but the college boy, where they go in and they do some biceps and they sit around for 5 minutes,
Right.
and go in and
You're
do
working.
right.
Yes.
Kind of a nonstop for 20 or 30 minutes. Not only will you burn those calories during those 20 or 30 minutes, your body will continue. Your metabolism will stay raised for 72 hours.
Wow.
So even while you're sleeping that night, because you've built that muscle, and the muscle is required to, as it's recuperating and regenerating and all that, it's going to burn those calories.
And muscle burns calories more efficiently than fat does.
Exactly.
So the more muscle we get, the more we're working.
And it takes up less space too. So the more, you may not even lose necessarily pounds at first, but you'll notice your jeans, because it's going
Yeah.
to take up less space.
Okay,
So, yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
That's more incentive to do. Anytime we talk about your jeans fitting better. All right, Mike's on the line. Mike, thank you for being part of the show tonight. What's your question?
I'd like to ask the lady you have on your show tonight. I have a question. I'm a diabetic, and I like a lot of fruit and everything like that. And a lot of the fruits have sugar in it, and I just want to know if there's something I can substitute the fruit for. And just wondered, if I love tuna fish, is that pretty much fattening? I mean, could I substitute the tuna fish for the fruit? And thanks for your time, and have a good night.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing, with diabetes, and there's a difference between sugar. You've got added sugar and then you've got natural sugars. Some, especially depending on whether type 1 versus type 2, and then also depending on kind of how badly you have, sometimes you need to stay away from fruit. There are fruits that have much higher sugar levels than other fruits. Berries are going to be your best option. Blueberries, strawberries, raspberries, because they're loaded with fiber and less kind of sugars. Also, any fruit that you can eat that has apples with skin on,
Okay.
Things like that. Your higher sugars are going to be pineapples and but again, I try not to, a lot of people say oranges, they alienate fruit. I try not to do that too much, because I feel like it's fructose and, it's sugars that are different. When we mentioned the pumpkin spice latte earlier, those were added sugars. It's not a natural sugar. So I eat a lot of sugars from natural fruits.
source, yes.
The other option is, produce. You don't necessarily want to replace tuna for your fruit, because that's a whole different ball
category.
game. So anytime you can have maybe some carrots or some celery or broccoli or things like that to increase your produce, but just on the lower sugar side, I think is a good option. The tuna, especially depending on how you eat it, I wouldn't suggest getting tuna salad from a restaurant, because it's going to be loaded with mayonnaise and even sugars and things like that. Tuna from a can is fantastic. Even I don't get them from the cans. I get them from the bags, because they're just super convenient, and you can get the small ones, and it's just like one serving. I'll even make tuna burgers out of those. And tuna and salmon is the same way, because a lot of people, if you don't like fish, salmon out of the bag is not so fishy.
Oh.
So you can make basically your own tuna salad. And if you want to make a tuna salad, you could use a little bit of Greek yogurt if you want it creamy, or you could just add a little bit extra virgin olive oil and maybe some red wine vinegar and load it up with, again, some celery, and maybe stay away from the pickles and add celery for the crunch, and things like that. But tuna is a great option. I'm assuming he means canned, but tuna, even, if you're making tuna steak, that's great too.
Yeah,
any kind of fish is
And I
good.
do think the whole sugar debate is kind of like the old egg debate. This whole sugar thing, it's confusing for people when we talk about natural sugars, and then you have your artificial sweeteners and your things like stevia, and just there's so much out there. And it's like, well, what is good and what's not? And something's good for a while, and then it's like, oh no, that's not good anymore.
And I think too, a lot of times people, not only are they, kind of anti-fruit, which I think, kind of bizarre. I think if it grew, swam, or walked on the earth, it's good for you, for the most part. And the less process it has from the earth to your table is the best. But everybody's anti-milk, cow's milk right now, and they all want to go, whether it's almond milk or cashew milk or some other type of milk, and they say, well, it's lower in sugar. Well, the thing about it is lactose is, again, it's sort of like fructose from fruit. It's not just an added sugar. Your body processes that totally different. So the sugars, I would not consider those added sugars. So you're much better off. Plus, your cow's milk, whether it's skim or 1%, I certainly wouldn't go whole, but 1%, 2% even, is going to be loaded with protein, which helps fight fat and has so many things. Almond milk has almost no protein in it whatsoever. I mean, it doesn't have as much sugar, but it doesn't really provide anything either.
Sure.
So
yeah. I think this is so true about a lot of things in life. Moderation, is so key when you're speaking of diet. Whether it's your fruit consumption, you don't want to go way overboard with fruit, but it's a great thing. Same thing with red meat. I like it, and but you don't want to have it for every single meal, every single day.
Right. And I think the more variety we can have with not only the types of food we eat, but the colors of food that we eat. From fish to red meat to chicken to fruit to vegetables to whole wheat to pasta to whole wheat. Don't be anti-bread either or anti-gluten. Gluten is not the enemy.
Right.
Only like 1% of the population has
a gluten allergy.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's actually not an allergy either. It's your immune system. You're just your body can't process it. So you have the celiac disease.
Okay.
It's a disease. So a lot of people say, oh, I have a whatever. Well, unless you're that 1% population, it's not, gluten isn't the enemy. Twinkies, white bread, all those kind of like very highly processed flours are the enemy. Gluten isn't the enemy. Whole grain bread. I eat a lot of whole grain bread and grains, oatmeal, things like that.
Let's get back to the exercise talk just a little bit. And we were talking about just 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
That's a great starting point to try to get into your life. Maybe it's not the ending point for a lot of people, how much exercise they're trying to get. When you're training people, what do you try to incorporate and for what lengths of time?
I always start out with like a whole body workout where we're doing a lot of resistance training, and usually there's no equipment required, just good steady tennis shoes and a sports bra for women, and that's pretty much it. That's all you need. Maybe a towel for the floor if you want to get down. We get down on all fours, but everything from push-ups to squats to tricep dips on you using like a steady chair, and really we're kind of doing the whole body, and we're moving in progress. So it's kind of a cardio along with resistance, and you're getting your muscles. And you can start out, if you can't do a push-up from the floor, start out with just even like right here and just doing a push-up from a desk or a counter, and then move your way down. And if you go from station to station, you kind of do some push-ups, and then you do some lunges, and like lunging across the floor, like kind of walking, lunging, and then going back. And honestly, a lot of people that I start with can only go for about 10 or 15 minutes, and they're
enough.
done. Yeah. And so I say, that's good. That was our first day, and that's good. So I think whatever is more than you did yesterday is a good start.
Yeah.
You've got to start somewhere. I'm not expecting anybody to run a marathon tomorrow.
Right.
You've got to start somewhere, and really it's just kind of, and it's the same way with eating. You don't want to go all in, because if you're not all in, you're all out.
Yeah.
So you've got to kind of make these changes. Okay, today instead of 5 sodas, I'm going to have 3. And instead of sitting on the couch for the entire hour, I'm going to DVR it and spend, because an hour-long show, if you sit there and watch it live, it's an hour. But really, it's only about 43 minutes or so. So DVR it or record it or whatever, or even if you don't have that during the commercials, get up and do something during those 3 minutes.
Yeah, whether it's jumping jacks, or you're doing the triceps, you know, it's something, and then you're like, whew, okay, now I take a break for a little while, and then another 3 minutes of activity.
Energy begets energy, and I feel like you know, whenever you make small progress steps, it just creates, you know, that confidence to say, I did this and I can do it. And, you know, and don't say I'm going to lose 50 pounds. Say, I'm going to lose one. It takes 1 pound at a time. So say I'm going to lose 1 pound this week. Yeah. And that's, you know, just taking it step by step.
Okay. Good advice on that note. We're going to go to break. I know we have a caller on the line. We'll get to that when we come back. Stay with us.